Hi, I'm Neil Thompson here at Book Expo America. I'm here with John Grisham. Pleasure to have you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks. So it's 2014. You got another book coming out this fall, but I wanted to back up a little bit and talk about Sycamore Row. Came out end of 2013. I think the paperback's coming out soon. You went back and revisited what's been happening with Jake Brigance. Did you just need to know what he was up to?
You know, over the years, A Time to Kill was published 25 years ago. And the book didn't sell when it first came out. It was a non-event.
So I should say real quick, your first novel took a while to get going.
Well, it took a while. It didn't get going for a while. Once The Firm came out and the Pelican Brief and the later books, A Time to Kill sort of got discovered, rediscovered, whatever. And now, 25 years later, it's the best-selling book of all of my books. Over the years, people have often said, really nice things like, hey, man, I like your books, but the first one is the favorite. I've heard that a lot. And they'll also say, when are you going to write a sequel? Or how about another story about Jake and Harry Rex and all those characters in Clanton, Mississippi? And I've always said, I'll write the book when I get the story. It took a long time to get the story. 2 or 3 years ago, it kind of fell into place, though. And I decided to pursue, not really a sequel, because it's got some of the same characters, but not the same plot doesn't continue. And it was really enjoyable going back to that locale with those people. And kind of, it's like revisiting old friends. And I had to go back and read a lot of A Time to Kill to remember what I'd said, but to remember specifics, how the town was situated, things like that. But it was the first book I've written in a long time, in which I did not want it to end. I wanted to keep writing and telling stories. I wanted to catch up with Jake, who was sort of my alter ego. When I wrote A Time to Kill 30 years ago, it was very autobiographical. I was that small town lawyer trying to survive and dreaming of the big trial. That was very much me back then, so I wanted to kind of redo Jake, see him again.
Yeah, well, so much of your work revolves around the law, the South, obviously, race, racial politics, injustice.
Yeah.
It just seems like an endless well of storytelling. Has it always felt that way to you, that you can just tap into that and find a story?
Sure. Still, after 30 books, there's still so much material. There's so many great stories involving the lawyers, law firms, legal trends, litigation, changing laws, courtroom dramas, injustice, social injustice, bad outcomes in trials, wrongful convictions, the death penalty, children in prison. I mean, the issues are just there, and I want to explore all of them. I wish I could write, 2 or 3 books a year and big, thick legal thrillers. I can't write as fast as Stephen King, though. He puts out 3 or 4 books a year.
But you have explored other types of writing. You've got your Theodore Boone series, which is great. You love baseball. You've written baseball. I loved Calico Joe a couple of years ago. So what's the next one? Comes out later this year.
I wish I had a great title for it, but I don't. I've written 400 pages and there's no title. We're knocking a couple of them back and forth. I don't do well with titles. It's a legal thriller. It's about a young lawyer here in New York City who gets squeezed out in the Great Depression, Great Recession, 2008, when Lehman crashed and Bear Stearns crashed, and we thought the world was coming to an end, financially. There were a lot of lawyers laid off. A lot of really well-educated young associates got the axe, and on the streets, and she's one of them, and she finds herself in Appalachia, rural America, in the coal fields, doing work for a nonprofit, just trying to survive for a year or so until she can get back to New York. And while she's down there, she runs into a lot of trouble. She has real clients, poor folks who need help, and just a lot of issues involving coal and environmental problems, and it's a big story. I wish it was finished. I'm trying to finish it now.
But you're talking to me instead. So looking forward to it. October, I think you said, of 2014. And then real quick, because I always love to ask writers who I admire, where do you work? What's your space and what's your little daily routine?
It's discipline. It's one spot in an office. that's in a building. We live in a house that's a couple hundred years old, and there was a small outbuilding that they used as a summer kitchen. And the architect explained to me back in those days, back in the days of slavery, they would cook in what they call the summer kitchen. Fires were so common and devastating because there were no fire departments. They were terrified of fire, so they cooked in a separate building. And they would bring the food over. And my building is called the summer kitchen. That's where my office is. My wife completely redid it 20 years ago, pristine the way it was way back then, except for air conditioning and electricity. And it's a great little writer's spot, very quiet. I work on a computer, desktop. It's not online because I don't want to get hacked into. There are no phones, faxes, internet. It's very quiet. In the morning, it's very dark and quiet, and that's where I work. And I start at around 7:30, and go for 4 or 5 hours with the same cup of coffee, the same type of coffee, the same everything. Breaking, I'll go have breakfast with my wife or go see what she's doing back and forth to break the monotony. But that 4 or 5 hour period is crucial. I mean, I never write after noon.
It's just
after lunch.
done by then.
I'm done.
Yeah.
You write hard for 3 or 4 hours, your brain's pretty well done.
Yeah. Anything playing in the background? You listen to music while you write?
No, I've tried it. I'm not a music guy. We all like music, but I'm not a music aficionado. I've tried all different types of music, from guitar to jazz to Springsteen, and nothing works. It's too distracting. So it's got to be real quiet.
Yeah. And finally, anybody you're reading you're excited about right now?
I'm not reading much when I'm actually writing. I try to stay away from fiction because I have to read so many nonfiction books about the topic I'm on. And the topic here is coal production, the coal fields, environmental disasters, things like that. And I'm reading a lot of books about that. So it's fascinating, but I'm kind of tired of it. And when I finish up in a month or so, I look forward to getting back to Michael Connelly and Scott Turow and the people I enjoy reading.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to the next one. Thanks for spending time with us.
My pleasure. Always fun here.
All right.